So I thought it would be fun to start the show with the first poem I ever did on this show when I was just a rube in the audience like the rest of you. I was just part of the open mic. I wasn't a feature or anything. So this is my poem called Argument. And I don't like microphones for poetry. Well, I like to be right. This is what's left of our conversation after our battle. What, I should feel bad about it? I should let sad grab a hold of these untold emotions and let oceans and oceans of history where you were pissed at me spill out into tears? Buckets of tears, fucking barrels of tears, to the point where it just seems queer. No, that's not a gay joke. And I'm not saying this just to stoke you or to provoke you into a fire. That would be the last thing that I desire. What I want is silence. A blind sense that the world is at peace, that this beast has ceased telling me that I suck, that I stuck my foot in again, as if every sin isn't displayed like the song Crimson and Clover over and over in my fucking head. I feel dead when I'm talking to you. There's no glue to your thought process. It's all, you're gonna have to do this. Well, I don't have to do shit. Plus, my head's already broken. It folds in when it tries to hold on to a thought. It's wrought with wispy wonders that it understands are things with mass. Did you take a science class? Do you know what I mean? Joy's a steam in this chain, and I'm stuck on the tracks, and I can't relax in this state, and I can't move to another one. I mean, do we have a son? I feel like we should have kids. I feel like it's the only explanation for anxiety like this, for you to ride me like this, for you to stand around so proud and ride around my hopelessness like a carnival carousel. I don't think you understand what this ride is. Your pride is misguided, and I'm standing 1 foot off the cliff. And your words are the stiff breeze I need to blow me into the heavens. There are 7 stages of grief. I think you've given me 6. I may have mixed my metaphors. I may have peed in that bed of yours. Doesn't change the fact that it's my bed too. So I didn't just do it to you. And for that, I bought myself some silence. So that piece got me a feature on this show. All right, we're not gonna tap dance anymore. We're gonna jump right in to one, well, I'm gonna say one of my favorite poets, but honestly, I picked these 5 poets specifically to be on the show tonight because they are 5 of my favorite poets. So, they are all my favorite poets. Okay. So, up first though, Shawn Hawley is a writer and performer from St. Paul, Minnesota. Came so far away. A fixture in the spoken word community since 2001 and a 2010 National Poetry Slam champion. He has spent the past decade focused mostly on humor, writing, and screaming jokes at people. He has performed all over the country and alongside many impressive artists, all of whom he met at summer camp, and they're from Canada. So you wouldn't know them. He lives in a special corner of your heart that you reserve for extreme extroverts who are always trying just a little too hard. Everybody, please put your hands together for Shawn Hawley.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Oh shit, these lights are bright. It has been a fucking minute. So I would like to say that I haven't performed in years, but I actually did a bunch of shows in like April, so I should be better than I'm going to be. That I can apologize for. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. It's been a hot minute. So I don't know when I did this show last. It was a long time ago, before COVID, and everything's weird now. And I used to like joke before COVID about how like the bravest thing that I ever do is like share a microphone with like 15 strangers. And then there was a pandemic, and now it's actually true. This is the bravest thing that I do ever in my life. So I am not a brave man. This is pretty new, and by pretty new I mean I've only performed it one time because, you know, nobody performed anything for years. Let's see how this goes. So just a little background about me. I drive a smart car. For those of you who don't know what a smart car is, it is this big, and I drive around in it because I don't know. I didn't drive for 13 years, and then when it was time to get a car, I was like, I just want a car that's the closest thing to a bike as possible, and so I got a smart car. It weighs like 150 pounds. It floats. Anyway, so this is a poem that I wrote about why I drive a smart car. It's 20 reasons that I drive a smart car. Number one, if anyone is ever mad enough at me about my car to fight me, I can conveniently slip it into the toe of one of my socks and beat them to death with it. Number two, it has been said that good things come in small packages, and as a bad man, I am testing the transformative properties of this theory. Three, if I ever abandon my penchant for doing crimes, I can paint my clown car like the red and yellow plastic Fisher-Price toy vehicle of my childhood, and that'll be good for a hand job somewhere. If you squint really hard from far away, it looks like I'm inside of R2-D2. When you see another person in a smart car on the freeway, it's a comforting reminder that other people are also stupid. Every dude with truck nuts whom I infuriate on the highway is secretly imagining making love to me, and as a straight white man who writes poetry, I cannot identify with but appreciate the historical significance of their repressed desire. When you meet new people, it's nice to know right away when someone doesn't like you. I can eat a dozen ghost pepper wings without a sip of liquid. I can pound a handle of vodka and still jump rope. I can punt a football 50 yards in boat shoes. And it is easier to get suckers to take those bets when you step out of a smart car. I never have to help anyone move, like, ever. I didn't drive for 13 years for reasons. So when I started again, I wanted to make sure if I didn't like it, I wanted to make sure, that I didn't like it. That way, when I inevitably hit a grouse and total this glorified golf cart, I won't be disappointed. Growing up in a very flat place with very boring people, this is about as close to bobsledding as I'll ever get. 12, I sometimes want to die. 13, when I was little, my mom told me that I hatched from an egg because she didn't want to admit that she made me, and my smart car is helping me process that childhood trauma by hatching from my little egg car every couple of weeks in my parents' driveway and screaming, "Fuck you, Mom!" At 45 miles to the gallon, it's fun to just sit in a gas station and watch grown adults cry while they're pumping gas into their SUVs. 15, when someone asks me, "When's the last time you lived dangerously?" I immediately have an answer. 16, it keeps me from bringing home large animals, like a moose or your mother. I don't know, mom jokes, right? We're bringing them back. 17, when my dad left us, I remember him driving away in a white VW Bug. Years later, buying a tiny white German automobile probably had absolutely nothing at all to do with that memory. 18, if you ever cleave through the guardrails as a slippery bridge and plummet into the swollen, raging river, I'm pretty sure I'll float. 19, in my endless lust for dopamine, nothing has come quite so close as to staring into the face of God as threading the needle between two semi-trucks at 89 miles an hour in a chest freezer on wheels. 20, if men in giant trucks have very small penises... Thanks. That's it. The smart car makes people so unreasonably angry. It is awesome. My two favorite things in the entire world is making dudes in trucks mad and seeing people whose sports teams have lost be sad. So Minnesota is a wonderful place for me to live. It's fantastic. Constant sports sadness and shit tons of trucks. But anyway, good times. I always I was a drunk, is what they call it. I drank a lot of booze, like more than you can imagine, sometimes in a day. And I stopped drinking, and that was weird. And so being in like a bar, it's such a strange like phenomenon because I feel like immediately comfortable and then also immediately uncomfortable. I'm just like, yeah, this is it. This is my people, and I'm gonna drink water around them. So anyway, I really I admire and appreciate people who still can drink because it means that like you didn't fuck up your lives. Like so congratulations on that. I'm proud of you. I really appreciate like people who fucking can handle their alcohol. I, turns out, could handle it a little bit too well, and that's why I just kept drinking more of it, and eventually it was just like gallons of alcohol on a daily basis, which is too much. Yeah, it turns out they don't think that that's a good idea. The doctors were like, hey, do you drink water? And I was like, I don't know, is there water in vodka? And they're like, no. So turns out it's a different thing altogether. All right. So this is from back in the drinking days a little bit. Rules for a functioning alcoholic. Do not drink before work. It is too fun. You will enjoy yourself and everyone will like you more, which means they'll want you to work more, and no one likes more work except for the people who drink before work. You can see how this could become a problem. Do not drive a car. It is dangerous and much slower than biking, which becomes a form of teleportation after your 11th drink, the only side effect of which is occasionally waking up in a hospital with hazy memories of flying. Do not drink around children. It puts you right at their sticky little level, which will result in meandering conversations about blocks or dinosaurs or potties, whatever the fuck it is kids talk about. Everyone will think you're great with kids, and bam, that's how it happens. You sober up one afternoon and realize you're a child psychologist or dating a single mom. Do not keep Hot Pockets in your or pizza rolls in your freezer. This only ends in one of two ways: waking up with third-degree burns on every surface of your face or perishing in a house fire. Also, you're a functioning alcoholic. Learn to cook drunk. Do not cook drunk. Everything will taste wonderful. You'll wake up in the morning with amazing new recipes that you will make in the future for the single mom you're dating, like pickles and cheddar cheese wrapped in crescent rolls and pan-fried in bacon grease, or steaks seasoned with coriander and drugs. These recipes taste terrible to sober people, and she will tell you that, and you are too delicate to take criticism from someone who had kids on purpose. Do not call your mother. Nothing in your life is so important that she absolutely has to hear about it at 4 a.m. on a Tuesday. Certainly not that the single mom lying asleep in the other room might be the one, or that she was adequately sexually satisfied by your performance earlier that evening. Your mother has heard all this before, and she does not believe you. Do not tell anyone you love them. You most likely do not. And if you do, that's none of their business. Keep it to yourself in that place where you keep all of your feelings locked up tightly deep inside of you. It's hard enough being a single mom without some drunk dumping all sorts of romantic avowals all over you like a college kid might puke tequila all over a sidewalk. Amateur move, dude. Do not fall in love. It will make you begin to question your commitment to slowly killing yourself. It will motivate you to emerge from your booze-soaked haze for just long enough to stare into the eyes of another person and admit that in moments they are more important to you than all the laughter and attention and teleportation and hot pockets that this life choice has afforded you. It will be a concession that there are maybe some memories you want to hang on to for longer than an evening. It will force you to make decisions that you might not regret. I am dating a single mom and have been for 12 years, which I think means she's not single anymore. I am not sure about how like the properties of that really kind of work. And so one of the fun things, so you get to do cool shit when you like when you have like fake kids. Like one is like not this stuff their mom wants you to keep from doing, like, you know, like it's like constant swearing or like, you know, introducing them to fucking, yeah, I don't know, heroin. And so, but really though, you do get to do cool shit. Like you get to go to like water parks and stuff like that, because like you can't, like you age out of water parks as like a single dude at a certain point. Like you just can't Like, I don't get to go, like, just to a water park by myself anymore. But you get, like, you have kids and you're like, fuck, man, I get to go do these fun things that are socially not acceptable to do alone. But because of that, also, you get cool shit. Like, they grow out of, like, their unicorn sippy cup, and then you just get a fucking unicorn sippy cup. Like, that shit's yours. Now, it's like, too cool for that, Peyton? Like, yeah. Not me. I can't put this in my smart car, or it will be too heavy and it won't go. But yeah, so I love, like, so you actually develop this, like, thing where you start, like, buying shit for, like, the kids that you know they won't like, but that you like, but you're not supposed to like, you know? And then you're just like, this is just mine now. Like, anyway, I got a shit ton of squishies. They're all unicorns, and unicorn onesies and shit like that. I just got a lot of unicorn shit. I don't know. It's maybe something I should talk to a therapist about. All right, this is my last piece. This one is weird. It might not go well, but I haven't been on stage for months, and before that, years, so I'm not too worried about it. All right. In the movies, the horse talks. Maybe it's a dog or a panda bear. You get the idea. The obstacle is neatly overcome, and the girl falls in love with me for no discernible reason. Her name is Sydney or Madison. It's a city. Of course it is. And she likes sports, like a lot. She wears a jersey as pajamas. It's not her boyfriend's jersey, her ex-boyfriend's jersey. Gross. She bought the jersey. She loves the Washington Penguins. She has funny conversations with her girlfriends about the best techniques for blowjobs while I'm angrily ignoring her at brunch. She hates Hillary Clinton because all she really cares about are the things that I like. Not politics or justice, just sports and blowjobs. But the thing is, the horse talks. It knows that I have a dope girlfriend named Citizen or Madly. It's aware of all the things I need, even when I'm not. In the end, all I really need is love and a talking horse to show me that. The horse and I get into shit, like acid, real hijinks, you know? We're best friends, but near the end, it becomes clear that I'm going to have to choose between the horse and my dope girlfriend, Brooklyn or Fargo, whatever her fucking name is. And it's all so impossible, not the decision, the fact that I have a dope girlfriend and a talking horse. I mean, I just don't have all that much going for me, and she's dope, and he's a talking horse. They'd obviously have a whole bunch of better options, or scientists would be studying him in a lab somewhere, and she'd get tennis elbow and die, everything would fall apart, and everyone would wonder how exactly things were going so well in the first place. Thank you so much. Thanks to Tony and to Sisyphus and to Crack Walnut and everything. This has been just an awesome fucking series. It's so cool to be a part of it and not to be asked to be part of the anthology because, you know, probably wasn't good enough, I guess. But I know. I put it together. So whenever you do years like 3 to 7, I think I'm somewhere in that range. They hit me up.
Guilt trip me, goddammit. What? What? Oh, seats, right here. Don't be scared of the front. It won't kill you. There's chairs, like they're just open. There's nobody in them. There's some chairs over there. And there's some chairs. Please. Please. Welcome. Okay, so I'm going to take a break from the features for 1 second because I want to bring up Mr. David Bayless. Where are you? Where are you? He's here. Come here. Come up here. This show was not started by me. I took it over. Not violently, he gave it to me. In, March of 2019 was my first show. So he had it from February of 2015 until February of 2019. So I want him to just talk a little bit about why he started this show, what his thoughts are, and then he's going to read one of the poems he read when he first started this show. So, Mr. David Bayless.
Hey, lights get brighter?
It's always this bright.
Really? Okay, I don't recall it being that way. Recall being able to see people's faces more.
Yeah, it's darker because it's cooler.
Okay, cool. I'm okay with it. It's your show, so, you do what you want. Yeah, so, I started. The first show was February 2015 at Fair State Brewing. But the idea for the show came, there was a place called Harriet Brewing that exists no longer. It was over where the Hub bike shop is on Minnehaha. And Hook and Ladder. So Brett Elizabeth Jenkins put on a reading there, and it was packed. And I remember saying to her during the intermission, like, this is and shouting because it was that packed, and like, this is an amazing fucking idea. She's like, I know, Poets and Pints. Why didn't anybody ever think of that? So, yeah, that's where it came from. So Brett helped me with the first show and stuff, in part because I was going to read, and I didn't want to introduce my own self. So I find that kind of tacky. So anyway, so that's how it started. And then Fair State, I want to give a little props here for Sisyphus. Fair State cut us due to a run-in with a poet who was kind of upset. We read in like the main room because there's only one room at Fair State. It's the main room, and so we had some poets who were very adamant that people shut up, and that did not work out too well. And then I found that, we're done. So the booking manager was polite enough to give me the next show, and then I went in search, and I found like Founders and Indeed were both like, nobody likes poetry. We're going to have to close the fucking thing down. It's going to cost you $300 a show to do this. And then I came here, and just by chance, talked to Sam, the owner. And I was like, I'm interested in this. And he was just at the bar. He's like, okay, well, let me talk to you. And then it turned out after all of it that I'm talking to the owner. And, he's showing me this room, and he says, this is like our comedy room. It rents out for like $300 for an event. But if you're doing this every month, it's free. Yeah. And it's been free ever since. They've done great stuff. I remember we had some anniversary shows where they baked cookies for us. Really, it was really sweet. So anyway, and I know, it's a pretty damn good beer. So there's a lot of people buying it, apparently, I've been told. So I hear people walk, the Poets and Pints. Sorry, I'm going on too long anyway. That's how we started. I am proud to say that in my time, I think one reason why I wrested it over to Tony is because in 4 years, we had 4 readers each reading, and in 4 years, I did not duplicate a single reader. except on the anniversary shows. And I kind of got to the point of like, okay, when I invite people back, how do I do that? So I don't want anybody to get pissed off that you invited them back, but not me yet. So I figured I'm going to dodge the whole question by giving it over. You know, maybe I was just, I don't know. Yeah, the poem that I read on the very first show was the artist's prologue from Dylan Thomas. And I advise everybody to look it up. It's an amazing poem. It's 102 lines. The first line rhymes with the last line, and then so on until you get to the 51st line, which rhymes with the 52nd. But I'm not going to read that. I'm going to read something that I wrote far after I was done with hosting this, but I think it's a message for poets and their craft. Accidental genius on purpose. Never interrupt your enemy when they are making mistakes. Even if you are the enemy, and they is us. Slipped another rope, spun the chamber, Russian a la mode, and dodged another bullet. Always were a terrible shot. Nothing is ever totally clean. Accept this precept and make it part of your practice, part of your process. That's my fucking phone. That was actually pretty good. I think that works. Might include that. We learn nothing from success, which, just happened. We only grow misstep by mistake, overheard words, misplaced chords, staggered time and drop beats, intentional or no, doesn't really matter. Your skin unblemished is not yet you. A blank canvas revealing nothing. Savor your scars, mind your faults, and celebrate your mistakes. It's the realest you will ever be. Thanks, Tony.
You just mangled this freaking. Get a cane. Well, it's just because he was leaning on it, is what I mean. And I mean. All right. Next up, we have Khary Jackson. Khary is a writer, dancer, and musician. In 2020/21, Khary co-composed a miniatures commission with the Minnesota Opera. As a hip-hop street dancer, Khary created and performed work at the 2018 and 2021 Choreographers Evening at Walker Art Center. Khary has been a recipient of several generous grants, including the 2019 Jerome Artist Fellowship and the 2022 and 2016 McKnight Artist Fellowship in Writing. Khary is an alum of the Cave Canem, sorry, the esteemed Writing Fellowship for Black Writers. Khary's poetry book, Any Psalm You Want, was published with Right Bloody Poet Publishing in the spring of 2013. Please put your hands together for Khary Jackson.
Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me okay? Yeah. I'm one of those people that likes to mask a whole lot, so thanks for rolling with me. I'm gonna try to pull this up a little bit. I know how to work these mic stands. I did slam poetry for like 15 years. All right. So what you're going to hear today is a little bit different. It's pretty much going to be a long-form thing. You're going to be hearing about 13 minutes of an hour-long music-driven story called Android Sinfonia. So this will be an excerpt of that. So you're probably not going to be doing any clapping until the end. Unless you're so moved to just like clap, that's fine. It won't throw me off. But yeah, and just the folks who are sitting here, just so you know, my speaker is right there, so it might get a little loud. I'm so sorry about that. But yeah, so you want to imagine this story is happening in 2078. It's a world in which biotechnology has advanced to a point that there's sort of a new form of like social stratification based on who has augmentation and who does not. And there are also droids, which are like literal robots. So there's like humans, there's androidians, and then there are droids. So there's like a lot of stuff happening. So you're just going to get a little glimpse into that world. Let me make sure I am hooked up to my here speaker. All right, let's jump in. Welcome to the club, the last place of refuge in this city, in the year of our creator, 2078. Whether human or androidian human, there is a home for you in these shadows. Leave the politics at the door, leave the fears, the tragedies, the uncertainties staring you in the eye every morning. Here, you're just you. All you ever need to be. The plan wasn't to meet somebody that night. There was no plan at all except to follow the bass and synth into whatever wave of euphoria that could be found that night. The club was the truest part of the city. That's where you can meet people and see who they really were. Whether human or androidian, they all had enough flesh to carry generations of memory. The club was a place for those memories to share sweat with the futures they all held inside, like they were scared that speaking their dreams aloud would melt them, send them pouring down their skin onto someone else's, only to hit the floor or get stuck into fabric and never sing again. It's fitting that this is where they met. The androidian, Cinda, and the human, Melly. Melly, in the amorous aftermath, didn't know what to say to anybody the next several days. They just had to have been there. Armor said goodbye to his armor, said goodbye to his honor, opened up his human hand, swore he'd never harm her. Her augmented limbs, her laughter so thin, her rhythm is quantizing to her own whims. Freedom is human, they told him, but look at that grin. He'll never listen again, 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 again. Again, 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 again. In the core of a dance floor, she did not believe a full-blooded human could carry such ease, this comfort, these arms, a whole new unknown. So much for her plans to dance once and go home. Again, 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 again. Again, 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 again. Armor said goodbye to her armor, said goodbye to her honor, opened up her gilded heart to hold something harder. Just one more dance, one more linking of hands. Just one more gaze into pupils ablaze. Her torso is shaking, his composure breaking. A lifetime of learning, succumbing to burning armor. Said goodbye to their armor, said goodbye to their honor. Interlocked their warming hands, lost in their ardor. There is more you should know about Cinda. She had not wanted to be augmented, to transform from human into androidian. Her parents made this decision for her as a child. They were poor and believed she had the best chance of any of them to move up, to live a life of comfort and respect. But there was a greater cost she would not understand for years. The programming. Anyone that undergoes the surgery at whatever age it occurs, they agree to receive partial reprogramming in their brains. Nothing in your face or immediately relevant. If you're lucky, it'll never be used. If you're average, then a few times. You might feel compelled to do something you wouldn't personally do. You'll think you're choosing to do it. But are you? Is it only you choosing? But here's what's interesting about Cinda. She found a way within herself to cancel the programming. She cracked a code that had been used to control her people. Her friend Giran believes with her help, the androidians can help to resist the droids who are becoming more autonomous by the year. Danger was imminent. They could help. And it all started with Cinda. A couple weeks later, in that same club, the upstart band had the crowd moving with their own brand of sardonic romance. It was a welcome change of pace as they brought an allure to the collective mood of dejection. All was well until a group of rogue droids busted in, cracking heads, busting speakers, doing their best to make the morning news. It's especially unfortunate that Breon was there that night. You don't bother Breon unless you want that pain to be reciprocal. In the last few weeks of these droids were already gnawing their last nerve. Hey, Breon, what's up? We gotta get out of here. It's so fun tonight, though. Something's wrong. I feel it. It's the droids. Oh, shit. Rogue droids. Get down. Oh, fuck. Move. We go this way. I'll go around the corner. Catch up. Oh, fuck. We don't have time to help anybody. Come on, we gotta go. Evan, where did you go? Come on. Ah, fuck, get down. Move! Evan, get up! Okay. Evan, get up. Oh, God, I swear you're okay. I swear, Evan, please. Please. Breon was already angry about the droid attack, but their old friend Melly made it worse. Told Breon that he was wild about an androidian, to the point that he wanted the surgery for himself. With the right adjustments, he and Cinda would be even deeper in sync. Their pleasure together would scrape heaven's floor. While Melly was in the hospital, unconscious under the surgeon's hands, Breon was chanting their friendship into dust. Breon was complex, but they were also quite simple. You're either human or you're compromised. You either have free will or partial freedom at the whim of the state. Intentions meant nothing when the result was a brain chip that could one day use your hand to point a gun at your friend. Breon knew Melly was not the same Melly. Breon, being who they were, would rather strike first. Always. Drill it straight down so you feel it. Ain't no way you're ever gonna heal it. Drill it straight down so you feel it. Your soul got a hole, can't seal it. I never thought you would do it. Looked me in the eye to refute it. A brotherhood, a lifetime rooted. It took a surgery to undo it. Every time you step by me, spark a breath by me, I'ma do my best to deal a death by me. You better cross the street on sight. You better dodge my heat on sight. Every memory of our childhood laughter, the shit done shattered. I'm here to put your matter into tatters. The sidewalk looking man-made for a splatter. Your last sight will be a witness's scatter. Drill it straight down so you feel it. Ain't no way you're ever gonna heal it. Drill it straight down so you feel it. Your soul got a hole, can't seal it. Human is the promise that we made. When others left for money, I stayed. Betrayal goes not unpaid. My final question, you want the bullet or the blade? Human is the promise that we made. When others left for money, I stayed. Betrayal goes not unpaid. My final question, you want the bullet or the blade? Drill it straight down so you feel it. Ain't no way you're ever gonna heal it. Drill it straight down so you feel it. Your soul got a hole, can't seal it. Thank you very much.
What happened to my bios?
Oh, they're right here. Here, I'll read them from here.
Trying to take my job? I have one job today. All right. One more time for Khary Jackson. So the next poet drove 450 miles to be here because he's a friend of mine, and I really appreciate it. That I said that like that was sarcasm. It wasn't sarcasm. That was actually fact. Okay. Shawn Pavey is the author of Talking to Shadows, which was put out by Main Street Rag Press in 2008. Nobody Steals the Towels from a Motel 6 that was put out by Spartan Press in 2015. And Survival Tips for the Pending Apocalypse, which was put out in 2019 on Spartan Press and is available here tonight. Which was the first runner-up for the 2020 Thorpe Men Literary Excellence Award and co-author of Even If We Did, So What, that came out in 2021 on OAC Books. He co-founded the Main Street Rag Literary Journal and served as an associate editor. His infrequently updated blog is at ShawnPavey.com. Everybody put your hands together for Kansas City's own Shawn Pavey.
Yeah, I've got to follow that. So let's start with some newish stuff. Survival Tips for the Pending Apocalypse, which is available tonight, is it's kind of like my collected works from '89 to 2019. So it's there. It's $15 if anybody wants to buy it. But this is some new stuff, or newish, that is actually, I only have one copy of this left. So the first person who buys a copy of Survival Tips gets this for free. Little incentive. That's what we talk about in sales. Anyway. This is called A Late Morning Gully Washer and a Perfect Pot of Coffee. Let's stay inside and play those Small Faces records. Maybe some pre-MTV J. Giles Band, Diamond Dogs era Bowie, some Rebel Rubble. Let's dance our hearts out in the gloom. The floor is swept and we have the room. Crank it up, baby, play it loud and make those dishes in the kitchen cupboard clink. Baby, make those glasses shake. We can rattle the dust loose and play that blues record. You know the one, the Muddy Waters. Oh, darling, that's it. I'll be your hoochie coochie man. Better yet, I'll be the man you need me to be. This is called Morning Gosle, and, you know, to all my friends, stop fucking dying. Right? And getting cancer and shit, because I've had enough. Anyway, this is called Morning Gosle, and Gosle is an ancient Arabic poetic form. Heavy rains for the better part of 24 hours. The river rises, water overflowing its borders. Thunder fills everyone standing with dread, but lightning cracks the air, opens us to all the sky's murderous powers. Beside a propane tank behind my studio, at the edge of an overgrown gravel drive, sway black-eyed Susans and lacy wildflowers. I maybe had too much of the signature beer. Sway black-eyed Susans and lacy wildflowers. Strong black coffee punctuates overcast mornings. Cigarettes are good too, but I don't smoke those anymore. Last week, chatted with an old and dear friend who's writing a book on the history of reading that I want to devour. He told me it's cancer, He told me the executor of his will send me his lifetime's book collection of analysis and verse. I do not want my friend to die, and neither do I want to end. I am exhausted from saying goodbye, yet here we are. Here's the obligatory pandemic poem called Daydreaming. Starts with an epigram from Courtney Barnett. Take your broken heart, turn it into art, can't take it with you. I should have written 200 books since lockdown, but I couldn't believe what I was seeing all around me. I could not bring myself to watch the news for longer than a few minutes. I could stand reading it online until I couldn't. But the hits kept on rolling in, couple of long-term bouts of unemployment, fighting the state of Kansas to get cash from a system I've been paying into since I was 16 fucking years old. And I was afraid to leave my house because there was death out there all around me, and I should still have written 200 books. But there were months of complete paralysis, and I have a saint of a wife who kept telling me sometimes 3 times a day that it was all gonna be okay, and I had to believe her. I had to, so most days I did. And she always made me laugh. I mean, belly laugh. And I don't know how this happened to me. And I wore gloves to the grocery. I wore 2 masks. Everywhere else, I worried my car's tires would flatten or my battery would die because it just sat there, gleaming in the garage. I should have written 200 books. I should have written so much. Epiphanies, and this is one of my weird experimental prose poems, like the one that just preceded it. Who knows anything about epiphanies anymore? We can't write epiphanies off our taxes. Profit and loss of this kind cannot be measured or entered in spreadsheets. No, epiphanies will bring pain, or they are pain. Serendipity, now that's something. Sailing about on oceans willy-nilly looking for silk, because where there is silk, riches will soon follow. History tells us this, but what does history know about silk? About empires rising and falling in silk? Dance is taxed and taxing, and I should be discouraged from telling you about it, because heavy as we are, we all dance in tornadoes. This poem I'm especially proud of, because not only did it get into the Chiron Review, which I've had on my bucket list for a while, it rubs ink with Marge Piercy, who's possibly the greatest poet living, and she maybe read this poem, and I hope she liked it. Anyway, this is called Horoscopes. Sunday. If skies are clear today, shine. If clouds greet you, think of sunlight. If neither apply, run. Run for your life. I mean, a mysterious stranger may run with you, may chase you. Outrun them, or don't. They will remain mysterious and strange. Monday. If today is a work day, don't. Or do. It's your life. You know what you need. Watch out for that mysterious stranger. Tuesday. Today is more than tacos. Today is settling into a grind. Today calls for tequila and salt. Salt from tears is acceptable. Remember that crying is hard to do over tacos. Hope for mystery, hope for strangers. Think about prayer. Wednesday. The end appears closer. Make plans now. Leave an extra place setting at the table. Mysterious strangers know all about Wednesdays. They will be there. They may bring a concertina. They may not have the good sense not to play it. Thursday. You are still here. That's good. Believe me. You've survived this far, and days get even shorter from here. Learn to stare into darkness. Mysteries and strangers live beyond what you allow yourself to see. Remember that night is long. Hold yourself close. Friday. Hang on. Now is when your time is most valuable. Every week needs a Friday, and this one is yours. Did you make your plans? Leave a place at the table? Nobody listens to oracles anymore. Omniscience is a burden. Bourbon reminds you of itself. The next day, Saturday. There are leaves to rake, or there are lawns to mow. The car needs a wash, but that's not important. Wear comfortable clothes. Dress for the weather. There is always weather. Think about how glorious it would be to write fortune cookie messages on those little slips of paper. That could be your career. Give the people what they want. Lies are so much easier to swallow with pastry and tea. And there's a bunch of stuff in here I'd like to read. But let's close out with this long poem. It's already September, which means Christmas is tomorrow. So this is called A Christmas Wish. And it starts with a quote from John Lennon. A very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one, without any fear. If he came back this season, rising from Bethlehem, filled with divine purpose, Jesus would build an army. Tall, carpenter strong, sunburned still from those 3 days in the desert, on the cross. His sun-streaked flowing locks buzz cut and razor sharp now. He would march out in front of his army of saints and angels and important people like Gandhi, Dr. King, the Buddha, Mohammed, Lao Tzu, Malcolm X, and Ben Franklin, all pudgy and bespectacled. I think he'd bring Nelson Mandela with him, Socrates, Sure, why not? Hell, he might even bring back Nietzsche just to fuck with him. George Harrison, he's always got such great pot. Immanuel Kant to teach us ethics. Jonas Salk and Elizabeth and Eleanor Roosevelt and Mother Teresa and Princess Di to help care for the wounded and the maimed and the orphaned and the dead. I think Jimmy Carter would be in Jesus' army to build houses for the homeless. Woody Guthrie and Pete Singer and Leadbelly would sing to empower the workers. Langston Hughes would teach us all to dream. Frank Lloyd Wright and Leonardo da Vinci could help draw up the plans to rebuild the world. Jerry Falwell would be back to take out garbage and dig latrines and shovel shit. Jesus would lead his army out over the whole earth, but Jesus would not be welcomed. Bullets and missiles and bombs would be fired at him. IEDs would be set in his path. All would be ineffective. Bullets would become bread. Missiles, medicine. Bombs would build hospitals. IEDs would build schools. RPGs become clean water to drink. He would take the bloodthirsty and the enraged and the misguided and hold them in the warm embrace of his love, of Allah's love, of the Buddha's peace, of the Tao's wisdom. He would go to Baghdad and Fallujah, Tora Bora and Kabul, Chechnya, Kosovo, Darfur, Mauritania, Jerusalem, Palestine, Liberia, Ethiopia, Myanmar, Syria, Lebanon, Ghana, Haiti, Somalia, the Ukraine, Christchurch, Newtown, San Bernardino, Ferguson, Baltimore, Orlando, Charleston, Las Vegas, Littleton, Parkland, Dallas, New York, Minneapolis. He would go to all the bloody places in the world and heal shattered bodies, broken hearts, poisoned minds. Netanyahu would bow to him. Hamas would dismantle their suicide bombs. The Islamic State would tweet their surrender. Or exit, I guess. Al-Qaeda would lay down their Kalashnikovs, come down from the mountains to know peace. They would know that this Jesus is a man who died once, nailed to boards on a hot hill, and would do it again. And how does one kill what does not die? Marching east from Israel, China would take notice and hold free and open elections, encourage dissent, apologize to the Dalai Lama, and withdraw from Tibet. Sworn enemies would fall on their knees, weeping, feeling in the center of all that they are, that this thing that Jesus has done has changed them, made them see, finally, that killing for an idea kills that idea every time. By now, Jesus is more than himself, more than the punisher that Paul the epistler made him, more than the political tool that Emperor Constantine envisioned. Now, Jesus is reason. He is kindness and compassion and fairness. He has shed the vanity and no longer needs capital letters to describe him. He is the divine within all of us. He is the best that we can be. He will go en masse to America, start on the West Coast, spread his army, which by now has grown to include all peoples from the rest of the world, throughout the land, which has finally become our land. Drought-stricken farms will flourish. The poor and hungry will eat. People needing work will find jobs paying fair wages for their toil. CEOs will leave their leather chairs for the assembly lines. The working poor will have time to be with their children. Everyone will read. Cars will run on water. Water will be clean enough to drink. Ice caps will refreeze. Wildlife will thrive. And Johnny Weissmuller will be there with Jesus, yodeling and swinging on vines, protecting the animals from harm. Advertisers will stop selling diet ads and beauty creams. Cigarettes will no longer look cool. Malt liquor and fast food will no longer be marketed to the poor. We will no longer feel the need to own too much. We will only work to live. Jesus will march his army east to Washington. The Marines, the Army, the National Guard, the Air Force, the Navy, the Coast Guard, the Secret Service, the INS, the CIA, the FBI, the NSA, Homeland Security, the FDA, the CDC, the GOP, the Skull and Bones, the Salvation Army, the Moral Majority, the Focus on Families, the 700 Club, the Rotary Club, all will let him pass. Jesus has become more than any of them can handle. The Pentagon will be converted to low-cost housing because Jesus, by this time, has made war and the very idea of war stupid. Everybody in the world agrees. And Jesus will stop being Jesus. He will fade away in front of us and become nothing. Because this peace and this answer lay inside us all along. To be good, to do good, that is enough. And we all know it. We do not need a God to fear. Fear is why we failed for all of human time. There will be great dancing Hindu celebrations of life and of living. Sufis will whirl in wild dervishes. Native Americans will sing and dance to their ancestors' drums. Jews and Christians and Muslims shimmy and shake side by side to klezmer music. Hava Nagila means let's rejoice. Indeed, let's. All the peoples of all the world will dance because now, finally, there is joy in the world. And angels we have heard on high will sing sweetly o'er the plain, and the mountains in reply will echo their joyous strain. Gloria, we will sing in excelsis Deo. Thank you. And thanks to, Cracked Walnut and Sisyphus for having us here. This is fantastic. And I've told Tony this before. This is the best gig in the Midwest. You guys should know that. Thank you.
wish I had a belt. He's done all kinds of gigs, so I'll take that as a very high compliment. So we are going to go to break, but first, I want to remind you that you can buy the anthology. The anthology starts out, I wanted to mention this at the top of the show and I forgot. Starts out with a poem from the late Mike Finley, who wrote this poem for Poets and Pints. So it's even in the title. So that alone is worth $15. But you can buy books from Button, books from us, books from the poets here tonight. There's books everywhere, but we're going to be passing around a box because we are a nonprofit. If you want to put any money in it, please do. If you don't want to put any money in it, then don't. It's a free show. But we're going to take about a 15-minute break or so, and then we're going to come back here, and we got more poetry. So go buy stuff. Buy drinks, buy books, buy stuff. What? Yes. All right, everybody, how's it going? Welcome back from the break. We have an empty table here if people need somewhere to sit. You can sit there. Okay, so first, what? You're so bossy. Yeah. Oh, you wanted me to not say, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Okay, we're going to bring up Micah because she's going to tell you about the wonderful Cracked Walnut Literary Festival that's coming up through the entire month of October.
All right, I'm way down here. All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for coming out tonight. Let's just give a hand to Tony for putting this on. This is amazing. He's done a phenomenal job advocating for poets all over the cities, and obviously bringing people from out of state is awesome. So I'm here to just let you know that we're kicking off our 2023 Fall Literary Festival, the first since COVID. Heyo. Not that COVID's not still a thing, obviously, but no, I won't do it. No. But I don't know how to respond to that. So anyways, we have 17 events lined up for you throughout the month of October, starting on the 1st. We're going to be selling our anthology, Cracked Walnuts Anthology, which is amazing. So you definitely should check that out. But yeah, everything is listed on our website. I know that Tony has the QR codes down here for you. So if you want more information, you should definitely look into it. They're all different themes. There's all different poets going to be at different ones. So like, you know, there's something for everybody out there, right? So look into that. If you have any questions or want to volunteer, we are in desperate need of volunteers. Come find me and we'll chat, okay? All right, awesome. Thanks, y'all.
Jesus. That's better. Although, all right, our next featured poet for the evening, Thadra Sheridan, is a writer and performer from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Her work has appeared in Rattle, The All, Spectre, Sugared Water, and on HBO's Deaf Poetry Jam, and at San Quentin Penitentiary. Her film Waiting earned over 1 million views on YouTube and an entrance, The Bitchy Waiter. She is currently working on a memoir. So everybody, please put your hands together for Thadra Sheridan.
Now I got to put it back down. Yeah. Shout out to the shorties among us. Okay, so here's what happened. I had this whole set put together for tonight, and it was all thematic, and it had like an arc, and it was temporal and literary, and then I started, my printer was down, so I started digging around trying to find hard copies of all the pieces I wanted to do, and then I just started finding other hard copies of weird stuff, and so... Yeah, so the theme tonight is weird random shit I found today that I decided I wanted to read. Thank you very much. I have no idea what I wrote this for at all. I don't even remember writing it. A guide to what to expect once you're past 35. You're old. That is what you tell your friends in a completely non-ironic way. This mantra will be repeated incessantly. Somewhere in the past 10 years, you have progressed from having your whole life ahead of you to being nearly dead. Never mind that you very well might have half a century or so left. This is your new reality. Old is the new you. Get used to it. You will demonstrate your oldness by referencing some piece of technology from like 10 years ago as proof of how long you've been around. For example, I am so old I used to call people on a Motorola Razr. Or I'm so old I used to have a profile on MySpace. Every time someone asks you what is MySpace, you will feel death's grip on your throat tighten, oldie McOldster. Every headache is probably an aneurysm that will burst or pop or leak or whatever aneurysms do at any second, probably mid-sentence, probably in an extremely embarrassing way that will overshadow all of your accomplishments and become your legacy. Tra-la-la! Good news! It turns out that the only people that really actually care what you look like are your romantic partners, prospective romantic partners, and internet trolls. The pain in your leg is not due to the fact that you just binge-watched 4 seasons of House MD over the period of 3 days to avoid confronting your mortality. That has absolutely nothing to do with it. It is more likely an undiscovered fatal disease that they might have named after you had you done anything interesting with your life. When you wave goodbye to people, the upper part of your arm now jiggles. The bruise on your calf is a blood clot. It will soon break off and travel through your bloodstream to become lodged in your heart and cause a fatal heart attack. You learned this is possible by watching House MD. Hangovers! Remember when you used to drink Yeg bombs all night, then wake up, barf it out, have a couple of glasses of water and some biscuits and gravy, and then you were good to go? That's over. Now your little robot machine is just going to shut down for the day as a fuck you. You find a weird spot on your cuticle that's infected. You look it up on the internet. This, by the way, is not recommended. You learn some fancy science name for infected cuticle, which, when unchecked, can result in life-threatening infection. Yeah, you probably have that. Holy crap, do you have a lot of stuff. You moved out of your parents' house with a duffel bag and 3 cardboard boxes. Where did all this shit come from? Upon examining your right ear in the medicine cabinet mirror, you determine that you probably have contracted some sort of flesh-eating virus. It could happen. People you know that are your age will start dying regularly. Maybe some already have, but more so in freak accidents like tubing down the Cannon River gone awry, or that unfortunate incident involving Captain Crunch cereal, some gasoline, and a bouncy castle. Now it's pretty much all cancer. You probably have cancer. The appeal of jumping up and down decreases in direct proportion to the increasing appeal of naps. This is not a problem. Jumping up and down is stupid. The #1 cause of death in the U.S. is heart disease. You probably have that. All of your friends are married. They have kids. The list of people you can call last minute to catch a movie is getting smaller because there's a PTA meeting, or one of the kids has the flu, or it's a school night. Maybe this is you. If not, it's not that big of a deal because there's always cats and you'll be dead soon anyway. You're okay. Whereas now you're that much nearer to death. The ladies don't complain that he is sleeping with other women. They are totally cool with that because he is James Bond. You will tell your friends, James Bond sticks his secret agent gadget in my lady parts. And your friends will gasp and beam in awe because that is a major achievement to be carried through to the rest of your life, to tell your grandchildren, who may or may not be descendants of James Bond, which is hard to determine because he is an international spy, difficult to locate for paternity tests, and he earns super secret paychecks too classified to garnish. Yeah, that's the end of that poem. You don't have to clap after all of them. A bunch of these are short. Okay, I wrote this one after I watched the first Deadpool movie, which pissed me off, so I never watched the other one, or maybe there were like 8. I didn't see any of them, but this one I did. Deadpool's roommate, Blind Al, hikes up her skirt to reveal the gun strapped to her calf, and Deadpool winces behind the mask that hides his disfigured face, tells her to lower her skirt because she is old. And old women are disgusting. Old legs are disgusting. No one needs to see that. But you cannot blame her. She is blind. If she could see, she too would recoil in horror from her own limbs. She would hide them at all times, like a Mormon or a woman in Iran after the 1979 revolution. Deadpool loves a beautiful young woman. She too has legs, but they are suitable for viewing. One day, Deadpool's love will age. She will remove her clothing to slip into the bath. Deadpool will catch a glimpse of her legs, no longer young, and he will sigh and slump his shoulders, grab his jacket from the hook by the front door, pocket his keys, and head off to trade in for a newer model. Fucking Deadpool. So shallow. Maybe if the Joker had taken his B vitamins, he'd be less homicidal. They're supposed to help with your mood, but come to think of it, he never seems to be in a bad mood. And it's not just the permagrin. He genuinely seems to enjoy his work. It's not a hobby. He's invested. It's refreshing to see that. A man doing what he loves, not just punching a clock. Actually, maybe he was once an ordinary man, working a 9-to-5, drinking whiskey to help him sleep. Not even the good stuff. We're talking the plastic bottle. And maybe he had a little gut grown from cheap beer and hours of television. And one day he asked, "What kind of life is this?" So he hit the gym, laid off the booze, started eating salads and taking supplements like B vitamins. And the fog lifted to unlock his full potential. At the airport, he hoists his carry-on bag to his shoulder. I call after him as he blends into the current newspapers and cell phones, strollers and neck pillows, briefcases and sensible shoes. "I love you." He glances back as if I have licked my thumb and wiped a smudge from his cheek. This is not the place for that. Businessmen might overhear. A young girl in sweatpants snubs out her cigarette. 2-day-old mascara muddies her cheekbones. A toddler walks a concrete bench like a tightrope. The loudspeakers announce the usual orange alert, and I slip back into my car, the passenger seat not yet cooled. Yeah. Fucking guy I dropped off at the airport. Yeah. The drunk man returns home late at night in a blizzard. He has 2 hot chicks and they're still down to party. He fumbles for his keys as he blemishes a fresh white carpet, gouges his pockets frantically while one lady lies on her back in the snow and calls it magical. Bereft of keys, the drunk man howls at the night, cursing what barroom floor or sidewalk now owns his evening plans. He grabs the snow shovel by the door and hurls it into the yard for dramatic effect. Lights in his building groggily twinkle on, roused by his agony. He pounds the back door of one unit, a man with whom he has exchanged occasional nods as they pass in the laundry room, announces, "This is my homie," as he hurls his fists at the dark wood. The maintenance man emerges and allows the 3 haven in the hallway. A shaky diabetic in his 60s, he often knocks on apartment doors to panhandle for cigarettes or sometimes just out of loneliness. And here are 3 souls in need of company. All right, this one, that was the last one. I'm going to have to drink water. From my grown-up cup. There's no unicorns on it. Where's your whimsy? The first time we met, well, all right, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till the rest of the show. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Shane. I appreciate that. That wouldn't be the first time. The first time we met, it's like you crashed right into me. I couldn't tear myself away if I tried, but I didn't try. And something nuclear burst in my chest without warning, like you turned the key and pushed the red button and my radar was on the fritz, or my team was on a coffee break and no one was watching the monitors. That's a Cold War reference. So it's like retro, but also topical because the threat of nuclear war is coming back in style. It wasn't an accident. Clearly, our meeting was dictated by higher powers, and I didn't really believe in higher powers, but for you, I'll make an exception because I've seen a lot of movies, and it always works out in the movies. We were perfection. And I don't mean perfection like the several guys I thought I loved before you. That was totally different. We liked all the same books, or at least I think maybe you'd read a book I like, and it really means something because books are important. And you wore thrift store shirts. I wear thrift store shirts. And you said you rode your bike everywhere, which ended up not being true, but I ride my bike everywhere. See where I'm going with this? It's like God meant it to happen. That was over a decade ago, which was fine because I'm very patient. And who am I to argue with God's plan? I've never mentioned this, but I love you a lot. More than Juliet loved Romeo if she wasn't fictional and well under the age of legal consent. And dead. Like the surface of the sun, which I'm told is very hot. Like Donald Trump loves Donald Trump. Like Steve Bannon loves booze and hate. Okay, I'm kidding. I don't know if he loves booze. I'm just guessing. I love you more than shoes. This is serious. More than the amount of krill it takes to feed the average whale. More than the amount of Fast and Furious movies. More than 10. I love you like those sparkly vampires in the Twilight series, I think. Actually, I've never read those books, but people really lost their minds over them, and I've lost my mind over you. It's completely unreasonable, like turducken, or dogs in Christmas sweaters, or a wall across the Mexican border. It dominates my thoughts like Genghis Khan dominated the world, like Amazon dominates the market for stuff. Like a dominatrix. I never said all my metaphors would be good. The point is I love you more than anything, more than my cats. Okay, let's not be ridiculous. Not more than my cats. Which is not to say that I'm a crazy cat lady, not that there's anything wrong with that. I will not end up alone with my cats because I'm going to end up with you, right? What's that? You have a girlfriend? That's okay. I'll wait. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Poets and Pints. Thank you, Sisyphus.
It's my favorite bit. You're supposed to laugh. All right. One more time for Thadra. Just insanely good. All right, our final featured poet, glasses, is Joe Davis. Joe Davis is an award-winning spoken word artist and best-selling author who uses poetry to power possibility. Joe is a student and practitioner of radical joy, a deep-rooted wellspring of well-being that he cultivates in a community through writing, music, theater, and dance. He's based in Minneapolis. He tours internationally to join schools, faith spaces, and nonprofits practice envisioning and embodying a world of collective liberation and human flourishing. Joe holds a Master of Arts degree in Theology of the Arts and also heads a multimedia production company, a soul funk band, and a racial justice education program. He's the author of 2 books published by Spark House, We Rise Higher, Poets and Prayers for Graduates, and Remind Me Again, Poems and Practices for Remembering Who We Are. To learn more, visit joedavispoetry.com. Everybody, please put your hands together for Joe Davis.
Yeah, y'all having a good time. 100 shows. Come on, make some noise over there, y'all. 100 shows? What? That's a lot of shows. That's a lot of shows, y'all. It's a joy to be here, yo. Much love and respect to David Bayless and to Tony Plocido for making it happen, yo. This is phenomenal. Everybody is amazing. Like, I'm just over here having a great time and enjoying myself. My name is Joe Davis. I'm a man of many hats, literally, metaphorically. I do a lot of stuff, music, poetry, theater, but poetry was my first love. I used to write poems when I was like on the schoolyard, like get to like the cutest girl on the playground and sneak a kiss me on the swing set. My friends would be like, ooh, you gonna get cooties? I said, so what? I want to get cooties. Like, and so that's when I fell in love with poetry, but as I got older, it got more serious for me. It actually helped me through some dark times. I got really sick when I was a kid. I actually passed on the bathroom floor, was rushed to the emergency room, was hospitalized. And during that time, I used poetry to help me cope with what I was going through. When it was hard for me to talk to my parents and my friends, I could just like pour my heart and my soul into my notebooks. And so I kept all that stuff, and I'll go through it sometimes. I'm like, what was I on? Like, this is wild. Some of it's still good, you know what I'm saying? But that helped me through, and it helped me really find my voice and learn how to be vulnerable and to speak my truth. And so I realized that it wasn't just for me. I just think I was the only one who needed that until I went back into the community. I had, you know, mentors, teachers, people who were like, yo, you should do this. You keep going. So, yeah, shout out to all y'all out there making that happen, creating that space. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful, powerful thing. And so without them, I would not be standing in front of y'all today. I want to share a poem. The first poem I want to start off with is a piece I actually wrote for some of the students I work with. I was invited to speak at a conference of young folks from all over the country who came. They were talking about, you know, things they wanted to change in their neighborhood, like anti-bullying and mental health and caring for the environment, all these things. I was impressed because when I was in high school, I was just trying to talk to the cutest girl in the hallway. I was not thinking about those sorts of things, but I was like, yo, how are we going to create space for us to talk about these things? And they wanted me to kind of rally them up, amp them up, get them hype. And so I had this call and response. So I'm going to invite y'all into a call and response. I love to do that. I know this is Minnesota, and we got Minnesota nice. And the way that people show that they're actually respectful and polite, they sit really quietly in their chairs and just like look at you real nice. But I'm gonna give you permission to talk back to me. We could talk together. I've been all over the country, and I realize there's something unique about the Midwest. Like, I'll do shows, like I've done shows before where I'll like look out in the audience and they'll be like, somebody just looking like they mean mugging the whole time. I'm like, dang, they trying to, like, do they want to fight me? What's going on? And then after the show, they come up to, oh my God, that was so amazing. Like, you could have fooled me. Like, I don't know, we're like the frozen chosen. We're not as very externally expressive. And I get it, we're emotionally calibrated differently. But I just want to give you permission, if you haven't got it anywhere else, that you're allowed to emote. So let's just try this out. Just bear with me, humor me, all right? We're going to do a call and response. I'm going to say, we ain't backing up and we ain't backing down. We rise higher together. And you all say, we take action now. Think you can try that? Let's just try it out. Let's do a test run right quick, all right? We ain't backing up, we ain't backing down. We rise higher together, we take action now. Okay, that was pretty good. Make some noise for yourself. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. Yeah. I was feeling that. So say it a little bit loud, a little bit prouder. Say it with your chest, you know, from the bottom of your heart to the top of your lungs, like you really mean it. And think about those things in your life you want to take action around. It could be anything, things you're passionate about, things that keep you up at night, that wake you up in the morning. What are those things you want to change in the world? We take an action around it. The poem goes like this. This moment is our inauguration. This moment, we're no longer waiting. People of every race, nation, and generation come together in this moment we are creating. Because we ain't backing up and we ain't backing down. We rise higher together. We take action now. Yeah. This is not for the applause of the audience, but to build strong the world in which we long to live. A love letter written beyond the pen, the dance in our breath, the song in our skin. This is the moment we dare to begin, where our fears end, where the bruised and the broken restore, repair, and amend. Because we ain't backing up and we ain't backing down. We rise higher together. We take action now. We ain't saying static is stagnant. We changing the status. Because, you know, change is automatic. We have to make it happen. We turn our pain into power and our wounds into wisdom. In this moment, we honor both elders and children. In this moment, the stories we tell can help heal them. In this moment, our expressions of joy are resilient. Because we ain't backing up and we ain't backing down. We rise higher together. We inspirational, unwavering, bold, confident, inclusive. We are the music that keeps the movement moving. We are the students of the revolution. We put the us in justice and the soul in solution, making a resolution to not just talk about it, but to do something. If our legacy speaks volumes of who and what we care about, may the way we live our lives, say it loud and say it proud, with courage and compassion until we have no doubt that this is the moment we take action now. Thank you. Yeah. That's what it's all about, y'all. Yeah. I truly believe in the power of poetry. Like, it changed my life. It helped me heal, helped me transform, helped open my mind and my heart, a lot of new experiences. And I think I've seen that happen over and over again all throughout the country. And so I think that's what this space is about. That's why I got mad love for Poets and Pints, got mad love for everybody pushing this movement forward. All y'all, I know y'all believe in the same thing. That's why you do what you do, you know what I'm saying? So it's a beautiful thing. Can we just clap it up for that real quick? Like, that's an amazing thing. Yo, we need more arts and creativity in the world, y'all. We making it happen. But I also believe that there's time for like rest and stillness too. As a younger cat, when I was first on the scene, I would go to everything. I was like every march, rally, protest, conference, conviction. I was doing the most, right? And I wrote this poem called Show Up, and it went viral because I was like, you gotta show up. You gotta be your best self, all this stuff. But I was getting burnt out, y'all. I was doing too much. Like, I was running on E. Not just metaphorically, but literally. One time my car didn't have enough gas to get me to where I was trying to go because I just wasn't paying attention. I was just moving too fast. And one of my mentors, she was like, "You're gonna be a raggedy revolutionary. You gotta get off the struggle bus." You know what I'm saying? And so I took that to heart. I was like, I really do need to slow down more, and I need to practice what I preach when I talk about like self-care. And shout out to folks like Audre Lorde, who would talk about, self-care is not self-indulgent. Right? It's self-preservation. It's an act of political warfare. That's what she would say, especially in a world that like profits off of our suffering and benefits off of our struggling. When we show up as our fullest whole selves and we're actually well rested, we actually show up and actually care for people in a better way. And so I was like, yo, I got to dig into this more. I got to create that space for myself. I ain't claiming like I'm a master at it. I ain't got it all figured out. I still got to take more breaks. I got to do better at caring for myself sometimes. But I wrote a poem to remind myself. So this book, Remind Me Again, it's a cry for help because I be forgetting. I need reminders. I know other people need reminders. But I put in here poems and practices for remembering who we are. I'm a big sticky note person. I put sticky notes all across my fridge, all over my house, tell me to remember things. But I decided to write a book full of reminders as well. And so this piece right here speaks to that slowing down and allowing that no to make room for our yes. So maybe y'all need to hear this too. Maybe y'all like me, y'all be doing the most, be doing too much. You need to create some time and space for yourself. You got to prioritize your wellness or else you're going to have to make time for your illness. You feel me? So that's what this is about. There's times when you got to say no. It's hard, but we got to do it. So don't show up. A reminder for when showing up just ain't it. If this could just as easily been a text or an email instead of a meeting, don't show up. If you filling their quota is all that they're needing, don't show up. If you would go but then wish that you would have stayed, don't show up. If you're being overworked and underpaid, don't show up. If you'd rather literally be doing anything anywhere else, don't show up. If you being there would jeopardize your mental health, don't show up. If you don't need a survey, a graph, or a chart to know that this place can't properly care for your heart, don't show up. If they say they want you now, but didn't want you from the start, don't show up. If you bringing your full self would somehow make you wrong, don't show up. If you need to keep your heart soft but your boundaries strong, don't show up. If it will make you question your safety or your sanity, don't show up. If they honor their comfort more than your humanity, don't show up. If they don't enthusiastically support your choice to be sober, don't show up. If you're being offered a seat at a table your ancestors would have flipped over, don't show up. If they want to jump to healing and repair before they confess and repent, don't show up. If they assume they know what's best for you and don't practice consent, don't show up. If there are parts of yourself you have to deny or hide, if it doesn't make you feel more healed, whole, and alive, if the world needs you well and you need to rest, if you need to let your no make room for your yes, don't show up. Because no is your choice. Because no is your commitment. No needs no explanation because no is a complete sentence. No need for punctuation, no need for explanation, no need for an apology when you're allowed to just say it. You can reclaim your time and reclaim your space. For all you've given away, you can receive more grace. Because sometimes the best way to really show love to others and yourself is when you don't show up. Yeah. Yeah. So here's the practice of not showing up when you got to do it, But I am grateful that y'all showed up tonight. It's a beautiful thing. I hope y'all are looking good tonight. I hope you are feeling good as well. I hope you don't look like what you've been through, as they say. You know what I'm saying? We out here. I know we've really been going through it these last 3 years in particular. I know you're talking about the apocalypse in some of your poems, and Khary, you had the whole piece. I was like, yo, that's happening right now with the robots and everything. Like, we're really, I feel it, yo. It's wild. Like, we're really out here in the apocalypse. But I like to say I'm an apocalyptimist, and what that means is like it's the end of the world. It's the end of the world, but we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. We'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? We just gotta keep showing up, keep practicing, keep being kind, caring for ourselves and each other. I think we're gonna be okay. I want to close out with one more poem. This is one of my poems that kind of went viral. It's called "Show Up." It actually inspired that second poem. And there's times you don't gotta show up, but also when I say show up, I don't just mean to a physical place and a physical time. I mean it's about an intentionality, right? It's about being present. It's about prioritizing the best of yourself, authenticity, an unapologetic way of being. That's what it means to show up. So this goes out to anybody and everybody who's practicing that, who's committed to that practice for yourself and for others. It ain't always easy. Maybe you go to places, sometimes you feel like you gotta check parts of your identity at the door or shrink or play small. I'm like, nah, fam. Like, show up. Like, be your full self. One of my favorite quotes is by Howard Thurman. He was a teacher to Dr. Martin Luther King. A lot of people know MLK, but not as many people know him. He was a mystic and a preacher and a teacher. And he says, don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come fully alive, because the world needs more people who are fully alive, right? And I think that's such a beautiful quote. And that's kind of what this piece speaks to. And that's what it means when I say show up. Asking yourself, is this going to make me feel more alive? Let me show up to that. Yeah. It goes a little something like this. We've each been called to this place, this time and this season. You may not yet know the rhyme or the reason. You may not feel, think, or believe in the same things I believe in, but we've been asked to show up. Show up wherever you're from. You can come here to be free. Bring your full self, both your head and your heart, your hands and your feet, and anything and everything, infinitely beyond any duality, your sexuality, gender, race, age, or ability. We all have the ability to be. Without you, I'm incomplete. Without you, there's no we. I need you not just to survive, but to thrive, to come fully awake and alive with potential and possibility. Join me at the table, for it is wide and there's lots of food to eat. So show up and be fed and feed others, satiating a different kind of hunger, fueling the fire in our bellies. No matter what journey you're on, what you've been or what you've done, all will be well when we're all welcome to laugh, cry, dance, write, breathe, and bleed into the margins and follow the call to the first reaches of who we are. Whether you run, walk, crawl, even if you fall, we fall in love. But just show up. Show up to answer the call to justice, to transform both the soul and the bodily world the soul inhabits. Show up with all your awkwardness and bad habits. Show up with your doubts and with your questions. Knowing here, you can ask them. Show up with your wounds and your scars. We all have baggage. But on that together, we can unpack it. This is no mistake. You're not here by accident. You are here to share the stories of your sacred passage. You are the only you that ever has been. You are not the magician. You are the magic. So show up to this place here where there's no grace, period. There's only grace, period. Bring your fears and insecurities. Let us marvel in the mystery. Let us listen to each other to life with a deep, holy listening. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? That's the sound of the genuine within you. The spirit stirring near you, but if you don't show up, how can anyone hear you? Show up, even if you don't know for certain. You may have the truth and healing for which this world is searching. In this grand universe, we're but small workers with a big purpose because of our hearts widening the circle. Hearts that are broken, hearts that are open, so a little light can shine through, a little hope for the hopeless. Wherever you go, simply know the spirit of this place goes with you. So go. Ready with sleeves rolled up, always growing, never fully grown up. Ready with all your heart, mind, body, and soul, simply to show up. Thank y'all so much for showing up. 100 shows. Thank you for showing up again and again and again. Yo, you deserve a reward, man. You're amazing. You've been pushing this through. Keep it going, y'all. This is beautiful. This is powerful. Thank y'all so much. Until next time, peace and love.